Jon Jones has spent most of this year at war with the UFC. Contract disputes, a denied spot on UFC Freedom 250, words traded back and forth with Dana White that got personal fast, but now the consensus greatest of all time is singing a very different tune. Earlier this year, Jones tried to force his way out of his UFC contract, reportedly hoping to land a fight with Francis Ngannou outside the promotion. That plan never materialized. Instead, Jones showed up at UFC 329, not as a fighter, but in the corner of Olympic wrestling star Gable Steveson for his pro debut, and that camp changed something in him. Jones admits it made him miss fighting, and that shift is reshaping how he feels about his future in the sport. Now Jones says the door is still open. He's still in the UFC's drug testing pool, still getting tested regularly, and by his own reading of the rules, that means the promotion is obligated to offer him fights. He even softened toward Dana White, saying grudges don't belong in business, and that the two of them will always find a way to make money together. So what happens if Jones returns? He's clearly eyeing a super fight, but Alex Pereira's loss to Cyril Gane may have closed that door. That leaves one name on the table, Tom Aspinall. If the Brit can get past Gane first.
When it comes to me actually fighting anyone, I just keep the door open. I'm still in the UFC's drug testing pool, allowing time to fly by. If I get that calling, maybe from like the higher powers, then I'm going to have to answer that call. But right now, I feel like I'm in the right place, which is serving someone else.
And you being linked to this Oleksandr Usyk fight that he apparently has Wilder in mind and yourself for his final farewell fight. Would you be interested in that Oleksandr Usyk boxing match if it's presented to you?
No, not at all. Usyk is Usyk, man. He's one of the absolute goats of boxing, of heavyweight boxing. I also am aware that he does wrestling, and that wrestling has been a heavy part of his training for many years. It's probably why he's so dominant in the clinch. If he'd like to test his total combat skills, I would oblige him in that. But to handicap myself by only using my hands.
Jon Jones has zero interest in stepping into a boxing ring with Oleksandr Usyk, but that doesn't mean a fight between them is completely off the table. Last month, the two-division UFC legend was surprisingly named as one of the names Usyk wants for his first big American headliner and possibly his retirement fight. Usyk even vacated his heavyweight titles just to give himself the freedom to chase a name outside the usual contenders. The problem? Jones knows exactly where his limitations are. Instead of stepping into a boxing ring, he's floating a very different idea. Bring Usyk into the octagon instead. Jones broke it down in detail, calling Usyk one of the true greats of heavyweight boxing and pointing out that Usyk's wrestling background is a big reason he dominates in the clinch. If Usyk wants to test his complete skill set against Jones, the offer stands, but box only using just his hands? Jones isn't interested in handicapping himself like that. Out of every heavyweight boxer out there, he does rank Usyk as the one with the best shot at making it competitive. Still, in his eyes, that's not the same as being a complete fighter, and Jones made his real feelings clear. He believes everyone already knows exactly what would happen if the two of them were locked in a cage together.
I mean, that's not the world that I come from. So, out of all of the heavyweight boxers, I do see Usyk having the highest potential and making it competitive. But I am no boxer, and I don't really consider Usyk to be a complete fighter. I think the world knows what would happen if we were locked in the same room. And I'll just leave it at that.
Gotcha. So definitely MMA you would be interested, but boxing you're going to pass.
I'm going to pass, yeah.
Right.
The way I respect him in the ring, he should respect me in that octagon.
Conor McGregor only has one fight left in him on his current UFC deal, and he's already made up his mind about who it has to be against. The former two-division champion's long-awaited comeback ended in disaster at UFC 329 last Saturday. McGregor versus Max Holloway 2 was supposed to be the biggest fight of the year. Instead, it was over in just 69 seconds after McGregor suffered a serious-looking knee injury on his very first exchange of the main event. It's not the first time injury has derailed him. After the gruesome broken leg against Dustin Poirier, McGregor was forced to pull out of his planned UFC 303 return against Michael Chandler back in 2024, this time after breaking his toe in training camp. He did eventually make it to the cage on July 11th, but the result denied him what would have been only his second win since he beat Eddie Alvarez to become UFC lightweight champion all the way back in 2016. Despite yet another injury setback, McGregor isn't talking retirement. He's already looking ahead to his final fight under his current UFC contract, with a target return date around April of 2027, health permitting. And there's only one name he wants. Even with Israel Adesanya publicly telling McGregor to finally give Michael Chandler the fight he's been chasing for years, McGregor shut that idea down completely. When a fan on X asked whether Chandler or Poirier could be next, would you like your last fight to be versus Chandler or Poirier? If not, is there anyone else? Also, heal up well and let us know about what the extent of the injury is when you can. McGregor's answer left no room for debate. Quote, "It has to be Holloway. He wants the Holloway trilogy and only the Holloway trilogy. It's a rivalry with real history behind it." McGregor beat Holloway by decision all the way back in 2013, a win he somehow pulled off despite tearing his ACL in round 2 of that very fight. And their rematch at UFC 329 ended in equally brutal fashion, with McGregor going down to a flying switch kick that fans in Las Vegas will be talking about for years. 2 fights, 2 devastating injuries, and now McGregor wants a trilogy to settle it once and for all on his own terms in what could be the last walk of his UFC career. Islam Makhachev's welterweight title defense against Ian Machado Garry is closing in fast, and his coach just revealed a secret weapon that could make all the difference in camp. Even Khabib Nurmagomedov has acknowledged the threat that Garry brings to this fight. The Irishman has confidently predicted he can beat Makhachev at his own game, and it's not just talk. His mix of sharp footwork and long-range striking gives Makhachev a completely different puzzle to solve compared to his usual opponents. The challenge for Makhachev's camp has always been finding sparring partners who can actually recreate that style. According to longtime coach Javier Mendez, nobody on the team naturally fights like Garry does. That's forced them to get creative, and it turns out they already had the answer sitting in the room the whole time. Analysts like Joe Rogan have given Garry a real shot at pulling off the upset, especially if he can drag Makhachev into a striking battle instead of letting him wrestle. But Mendez says their preparation is already built around exactly that scenario, thanks to one training partner in particular. Undefeated PFL lightweight champion Usman Nurmagomedov has been grinding alongside Makhachev throughout camp, and Mendez says his versatility on the feet is nearly unmatched. He's the one guy on the team who can basically become any opponent standing across the cage, and right now that makes him the closest thing to Ian Garry that Makhachev's corner has to prepare with. Usman, Khabib's cousin, has his own fight coming up first though, closing out his current contract against Archie Colgan at PFL New York on July 31st.
Do you guys have someone in the gym mimicking Ian Garry's style? Do you have like long people that are going to be just trying to fight in a similar style to him, or would you usually prepare for someone with a bit of a strange style like Ian Garry's?
Really, we don't really have anybody like that. I mean, his training partner, one of them is Usman, who's the PFL champion, lightweight champion. He's phenomenal. So he'd want to be one of the most, the best sparring partner he can actually really want to have. Is Usman. Usman's at another level, and people that have never seen him, and they should tune into this kid because he's special, and I get the privilege of watching him spar all the time, and I get to see him do things that are unbelievable. So Usman would be the one individual that can mimic almost anybody on the stand-up part, so he would be the closest to Ian Garry for us, would be Usman.
That's it from MMA Time. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for daily MMA updates.